Charlie O'Connor was a man of simple pleasures. He loved the smell of saltwater, the thrill of adventure, and the comforting embrace of his trusty inflatable flamingo, which he had affectionately named Flammy. For Charlie, nothing said spontaneous vacation quite like a last-minute sailing trip to a remote island. So, when he stumbled upon a brochure that promised mystical Fire Island, adventure awaits, he was immediately hooked. Charlie didn't exactly have a sailing license, nor did he know much about navigation, but that had never stopped him before. How hard could it be, he chuckled to himself as he packed his gear, including a questionable amount of snacks and a rather large bottle of sunscreen. Just me, the sea, and Flammy. After a somewhat rocky start, one very embarrassing incident involving a rogue wave and an unfortunate splash that left him soaked to the bone, Charlie found himself staring at the horizon, where a glimmering island emerged like a mirage. It was a vision of paradise, with vibrant foliage and, curiously, an alluring glow that seemed to beckon him closer. Finally, a proper vacation, he exclaimed, completely unaware that the glow was actually flickering flames dancing through the trees. Charlie docked his boat on the sandy shore and took a moment to appreciate the breathtaking view. "This is it, Flammy," he proclaimed, puffing out his chest with pride. "The ultimate getaway." With Flammy in tow, he ventured onto the island, eager to explore. As he walked further in, the island's beauty was eclipsed only by its eeriness. The foliage shimmered with an otherworldly glow, and the air crackled with a strange energy. It was as if the very land was alive. "This must be what paradise feels like," he mused, though a tingle of apprehension crept up his spine. The flames flickered closer, weaving through the trees like mischievous sprites. "Flammy, you're looking a little jealous," he joked, nudging the inflatable with his elbow. It seemed as if the flames were whispering to him, drawing him deeper into the heart of the island. He stumbled over a root, nearly landing face first into a bush, and shook his head, chuckling at his clumsiness. Who needs reality when you've got magic? Moments later, Charlie found himself in a clearing dominated by a massive bonfire. The flames twisted and turned, crackling with an almost sentient energy. Mesmerized, he stepped closer, a grin spreading across his face. "This is epic," he shouted, arms wide open as if to embrace the flames. Just then, a particularly lively flicker leapt toward him. "Whoa there," he laughed, taking a step back. "I'm not ready for the barbecue just yet." As if in response, the flames shifted, forming a playful swirl that danced around him, inviting him to come closer. "I guess the island's just friendly," he said, laughing to himself. But as he approached the fire, he suddenly felt a wave of dizziness wash over him. "Okay, maybe not so friendly." He staggered back, clutching his head, and nearly fell over Flammy, who, in a moment of sheer loyalty, had rolled over to cushion his fall. After regaining his balance, Charlie decided to explore more cautiously. He wandered off, his heart racing with the thrill of adventure. The forest was filled with peculiar sounds, and the flora seemed to giggle at his every step. "Is it just me, or are the trees mocking me?" he joked to Flammy, who remained silent as ever. Before long, he stumbled upon a cave entrance. The flickering flames from before seemed to swirl toward it, a fiery invitation. "What could possibly go wrong?" he asked Flammy, who, as always, offered no response. Inside the cave, the atmosphere shifted dramatically. The air was thick and warm, with a faint scent of smoke. As he ventured deeper, the flames lit the way, revealing strange carvings on the walls that seemed to tell a story of a witch, her power, and the island itself. Suddenly, the flames flared brightly, and out of the blaze stepped a figure, tall, ethereal, with long hair that flickered like fire itself. Charlie's jaw dropped. "Whoa! This is way more than I bargained for." "Welcome, traveler," the figure said, her voice smooth like molten gold. "I am Seraphina, the spirit bound to this island. You have entered my domain, and the flames are my guardians." Hi?" Charlie stammered, still reeling from the surprise. So, is this like a resort? Because I'm really just looking for a nice spot to relax. I didn't sign up for whatever this is. Serafina laughed, a sound that echoed off the cave walls. You are not the first to wander into my realm, but you may be the first to not be captivated by the flames. Trust me, I'm plenty captivated. I just happen to have a healthy fear of being set on fire, Charlie replied, trying to keep the mood light despite the absurdity of the situation. Serafina's eyes sparkled with mischief. Many are lured to the flames, drawn to their warmth and brightness, only to find themselves consumed by their desires. You must have a great passion to survive here. Charlie scratched his head. Well, my passion is, inflatable flamingos? He gestured to Flammy, who stood valiantly beside him. And snacks. I love snacks. Snacks? Serafina raised an eyebrow, intrigued. Interesting. Most do not find fulfillment in such trivialities. Hey, you'd be surprised how much joy a well-toasted marshmallow can bring. Charlie shot back, trying to lighten the mood. Serafina's expression softened slightly. Perhaps you are right. I was once a keeper of passion, but I lost my way. The flames are a reflection of that lost joy. They lure others, and I must keep them from harm, yet I cannot resist the temptation to feed on their fire. Feeding on their fire? Yikes. So what, you're like a fire vampire? Charlie said, half jokingly. In a manner of speaking, Serafina replied, her tone turning serious. But I have become a prisoner of my own making. To escape this cycle, I need someone to help me see beyond the flames. Great. So you need my help? Charlie was taken aback, realizing he might be in over his head. What do you want me to do? Juggle fireballs? She smiled, her fiery hair dancing around her. No, brave traveler. You will need to face your fears and learn the art of balance. Only then can you break the chains that bind me and find your own way off this island. Well, this just keeps getting better, Charlie muttered to Flammy. A dance-off with a witch and some magical flames. Just your average Tuesday, right? Serafina chuckled, and Charlie felt a strange warmth envelop him. Perhaps, just maybe, this wouldn't be the worst vacation after all. As the realization hit him, the flames flared with excitement, illuminating the cave with a dazzling glow. Charlie straightened up, a newfound determination igniting within him. He might not have come to this island for an adventure, but by the time he left, he would make sure it was a story worth telling. As Charlie stood before Serafina, he couldn't help but feel a mixture of excitement and trepidation. The air crackled with energy, and the flames flickered eagerly as if sensing his resolve. Okay, so what's the first step in helping you break free? He asked, trying to sound confident. Serafina smiled, her fiery hair shimmering in the glow of the flames. To understand the flames, you must first understand yourself. What drives you, Charlie? What is your true passion? Well, I guess I love the ocean, and I really enjoy camping, and snacks, he admitted, a little sheepishly. But I wouldn't say any of that is a burning passion. The flames are drawn to those with fervor, she replied, her tone almost wistful. They amplify your desires, but they can also consume you. I have been trapped in this cycle for centuries, feeding on the dreams of others instead of embracing my own. You must learn to dance with the flames, not be burned by them. Dance with the flames? I can barely do the cha-cha at a wedding. Charlie exclaimed, his eyes wide. But I'm willing to try anything, except maybe juggling fireballs. I draw the line there. Serafina laughed, the sound like the soft crackle of fire. Then let us start with something simpler. Follow my lead, and trust your instincts. As the flames danced around them, Serafina began to move, her body swaying gracefully to an unheard rhythm. Charlie watched in awe as she twirled, the fire encircling her like a vibrant halo. The flames responded to her movements, flickering in time with her grace. Charlie felt a pull to join her, an urge to mimic her rhythm. "Okay, here goes nothing," he said, taking a deep breath. He awkwardly attempted to imitate her moves, his arms flailing about as he felt utterly ridiculous. Flammy, his inflatable companion, bobbed beside him, providing silent encouragement. At first, Charlie felt like he was in a terrible dance class where he was the only one who forgot the steps. But as he focused on the flames, he began to find a rhythm. He swayed and stepped, channeling the energy of the flames, letting their warmth guide his movements. Serafina watched with a mix of amusement and pride as he stumbled through the dance. "Yes. Feel the fire, Charlie. Let it ignite your spirit." With each movement, he grew more confident. He twirled and spun, and suddenly the flames began to swirl around him, as if joining in his dance. The fire transformed from a menacing force into a playful partner, their energies intertwining in a mesmerizing display. Just as he began to feel a sense of mastery, Charlie took a misstep and lost his balance. He tumbled backward, and in a panic, he flailed his arms, inadvertently sending Flammy flying through the air. The inflatable flamingo soared dramatically before landing in the fire pit, where it burst into flames. "No!" Charlie shouted, leaping toward his flaming friend. "Flammy, no!" He quickly grabbed the flamingo, but before he could extinguish the fire, Serafina stepped in, waving her hand. The flames reacted to her command, dancing away from Flammy and wrapping around Charlie in a protective embrace. "Do not fear, Charlie. Your flaming friend is safe," she assured him, and the flames began to settle, calming down until they no longer posed a threat. Breathing heavily, Charlie looked at his singed companion. "Thanks. That was a close one. I'd hate to lose Flammy. He's been through a lot with me." Serafina smiled, her eyes twinkling. "You are learning, Charlie. You cannot be afraid of the flames, for they reflect your own passions. Embrace them, but also know when to pull back. Got it? Dance with the flames but don't let them take over," Charlie replied, wiping sweat from his brow. "What's next?" "Now, we must confront the riddles of the island. Each flame harbors a question, and to gain their wisdom, you must answer them correctly. This will lead you closer to my freedom." Charlie gulped. "Riddles? Okay, I'm not great at puzzles, but let's do this." Serafina led him deeper into the cave, where the flames began to flicker in a rhythmic pattern, almost like a heartbeat. Each flicker seemed to pulse with a life of its own, guiding them toward a grand chamber. The walls were adorned with ancient carvings that depicted stories of seekers who had come before him, drawn to the island by its mystique. In the center of the chamber stood a massive flame, towering higher than Charlie's head. It pulsed with a vibrant energy, its flickering form shifting colors from deep red to bright orange, illuminating the space in a warm glow. "This is the heart of the island," Serafina said, her voice a reverent whisper. "To unlock its power, you must answer its riddle." Charlie felt his heart race. "Okay, what's the riddle?" The flame roared to life, its voice echoing through the chamber. "To seek the truth, you must first find what burns the brightest in the heart of night. What is the light that guides you, yet hides when the sun is high?" Charlie scratched his head, his mind racing. What burns the brightest in the heart of night? Light, guiding, oh. A star. The flame paused, its flickering form seeming to consider his answer. "The truth resides in the heavens, but also in your heart. You have answered well, seeker. Proceed to the next flame." As the first flame dimmed, another flickered to life beside it, a smaller flame with a mischievous spark. "I've got a riddle for you too," it exclaimed. "What is always in front of you but can't be seen?" "Easy. The future." Charlie replied confidently, "Correct. You are indeed clever." The smaller flame danced with excitement. "Now you may move on." With each riddle Charlie answered, he felt the weight of the flames lighten. They became companions instead of captors, their energy invigorating him. Each correct response brought him closer to understanding the true nature of the island and Seraphina's curse. Finally, they reached the last flame, a quiet one that flickered gently, as if it were shy. "I am the last of the riddles," it said softly. "What can be broken but never held?" Charlie pondered, tapping his chin. "A promise?" The last flame glowed brightly, sending sparks dancing into the air. "You are wise beyond your years, seeker. With these answers, you have unlocked the essence of the island." The flames began to swirl together, merging into a dazzling display of light. Charlie shielded his eyes as the radiance filled the chamber, bathing everything in warmth and brilliance. Seraphina stepped forward, her expression a mixture of hope and fear. "This is it, Charlie. The flames are no longer just guardians, they are my ties to this place. If I embrace their energy and release my hold, I can finally be free." Charlie nodded, feeling the weight of the moment. "Then let's do it. Let's set you free." Together, they stood in the center of the chamber, surrounded by the vibrant flames. Seraphina raised her arms, channeling her energy toward the swirling inferno. The flames responded, swirling faster and faster, creating a vortex of light and heat. "Remember, Charlie, do not fear the fire," she called out, her voice resonating with power. "Let it guide you, let it flow through you." Charlie closed his eyes, feeling the warmth envelop him. He could sense the flames' energy, their desires, and their fears, an intricate web of emotions that connected everyone who had ever been drawn to this island. "Embrace your passions, but do not let them consume you," he shouted, feeling a surge of courage. With that declaration, Seraphina unleashed her spirit into the flames, the energy exploding outward in a brilliant cascade of colors. The fire crackled and popped, enveloping Charlie in a whirlwind of heat and light. For a moment, he felt weightless, as if he were floating among the stars. Then, in an instant, everything changed. The flames subsided, revealing a tranquil scene where the chaotic fire had once raged. The cave transformed into a serene sanctuary, bathed in soft light. Charlie opened his eyes and gasped. Before him stood Seraphina, no longer a ghostly figure bound to the flames but a radiant woman, her hair glowing softly like embers. She smiled at Charlie, a look of pure joy on her face. "I am free. Thank you, brave traveler." "Wow, you look different," Charlie remarked, still trying to process the transformation. "I have embraced my true self," she replied, her voice soothing and melodic. "And now, the island shall no longer bind me. You have shown me the way. But what happens now?" Charlie asked, glancing around the transformed cave. "Now, the island will change. It will become a place of healing and joy, a refuge for lost souls. The flames will guide them, not ensnare them." Charlie felt a swell of pride. "So, it's like a new beginning for everyone?" "Yes, and you shall always be a part of this island's story," she said, her eyes sparkling with gratitude. "But you must return home. Your journey is not over yet." Charlie nodded, a sense of purpose filling him. "I guess I should probably get back to my real life. I can't leave Flammy behind forever." "Indeed," Seraphina replied, her smile warm. "But before you go, take this with you." She gestured, and a small firefly appeared, glowing brightly. It danced around Charlie, weaving through the air like a tiny star. "This firefly will guide you back whenever you need to find your way. A reminder of the balance you've learned." Charlie reached out, and the firefly landed gently on his palm. "Thank you, Seraphina. I won't forget this. You've shown me that life is about embracing our passions, not letting them consume us." With a final smile, Seraphina gestured toward the cave's exit. The flames flickered one last time, creating a shimmering pathway back to the island's shore. Charlie stepped forward, feeling the warmth of the island's spirit envelop him one last time. As he emerged from the cave, the sun was setting, casting a golden hue across the landscape. The island felt alive, the air rich with potential and promise. He looked back at the cave entrance, knowing that he had not just freed a spirit but had also discovered something profound about himself. Charlie hurried to the shore, where his boat awaited him, Flammy half deflated but otherwise intact. "We made it, buddy," he said, patting the flamingo fondly. "No more magical fire traps for us." He climbed aboard, glancing back at Spirit Fire Island, which now shimmered with a welcoming glow. The flames no longer threatened but danced joyfully, a testament to the transformation that had taken place. As he sailed away, the firefly flitted beside him, guiding his path home. With each passing wave, Charlie felt lighter, as if the burdens of life were lifting away. He would return to his mundane job and everyday routine, but he carried with him the lessons of the island, a newfound understanding of balance, passion, and the beauty of letting go. When he reached the mainland, Charlie docked his boat and took a moment to breathe in the fresh air, the scent of salt and adventure still lingering. He was different now, and he couldn't wait to share his story with friends, though he knew they might never believe him. As he walked toward his car, he couldn't help but chuckle at the absurdity of it all. Guess my next adventure doesn't involve inflatable flamingos after all. Just then, the firefly zipped around him in a playful loop. "Okay, maybe I'll keep you around," he said, grinning. "You're kind of cool." As he drove away, the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a fiery glow across the sky. In that moment, Charlie realized that the flames of Spirit Fire Island would forever illuminate his path, a reminder of the passion that burned brightly within him. And who knew? Maybe one day he'd return to the island, not just for himself, but to help others discover their own flames. After all, the world was full of lost souls, and he had learned that sometimes all it took was a little dance with fire to find one's way. The end.